Halo, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang para viewers, kembali lagi bersama saya Yudi di channel Ayud X. Ya, seperti biasa main supir-supiran lagi ya. Eh, Lagi belum mood main Dota, jadi saya main ini dulu ya. Oke, kalau begitu kita langsung saja gaskan bermain truk-trukan. Ya. Oke, bensin kayaknya ya. Nah, dulu.
Who is responsible for the pandemic?
No.
Well, no.
That was just, everyone gave that one up, didn't they?
Yeah, everyone walked away. Oh, well.
Man, oh man. Something. Okay. Also saw this from your hometown of Houston, David. The mayor there, he's standing up to some people. That would be the local Muslim community that says, hey, mayor, you need to ask for a ceasefire now. We demand that you call for a ceasefire. Again, he's the mayor of Houston. Who cares if he does?
Right.
But you know what he said to them?
No.
Good. Nobody tells me what to do. You don't tell me. You don't demand.
Holy cow, I see that Houston Muslim leaders issued a 24-hour deadline to the mayor in their demand that he call for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. And the deadline came and went.
Dang.
And he didn't do it.
No.
So, they're saying, well, you're going to lose our support.
Okay.
Okay. And I have no idea. I don't know the background of the mayor. I don't know anything else other than this is a refreshing story, because rarely do you hear one like it.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, Houston may be in Texas, but the city proper tends to be dominated by progressive politics. And finally, you have a mayor of the city just saying, no, we're not playing these games. We got other things to worry about.
We had 40 Muslim imams and their organizations threaten to boycott the annual Ramadan dinner if he doesn't do it. So what? So don't go.
You better not do it then. You better not back down now.
Oh boy, this is the Markley Van Camp and Robin show. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I know. But usually these guys back up and they, I'm from further,
Well, and man, you brought this up too. It was like, you got deceased soldier's father that gets arrested last night.
Yeah.
But not the people that are screaming outside the place.
That kept Biden from getting there on time. Yeah.
Yeah, the people who are blocking the road. I mean, to me, I see that, people blocking the route for the president. I'm like, how are they not going like weapons hot right now? Because that's... I mean, how are you not going at least baton to the back of the skull in that moment?
Get out of the way.
Presidential limousine, make it a D9 from Caterpillar.
Wow.
Just a big plow on the front of it, just pushing people to the side. Yeah.
All right. News update and a round of What's Your Story next.
Remember today. You listen to 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
Live team coverage starts now.
Fox News, I'm Sue Guzman. Oppenheimer steamrolling the competition at the 96th Annual Academy Awards. It's 7 Oscars: Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Director. Robert Downey Jr. with the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor.
I needed this job more than it needed me. Chris knew it. Emma made sure that she surrounded me with one of the great casts and crews of all time. Emily, Killian, Matt Damon, Blunt. It was fantastic, and I stand here before you a better man because of it.
Audio courtesy of ABC and the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. New poll finds respondents trust former President Trump over President Biden regarding the southern border.
According to a new ABC News poll, more people trust Trump to lead the country, 36%, while 33% trust Biden and 30% trust neither.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson reporting. America's listening to Fox News.
Bynum signaling he might veto city council pay raises if he thinks they're too much.
We're going to ask him how much is too much when he joins us live for Monday with the Mayor.
On the KRMG Morning News with Dan Potter, 5 to 9 Monday.
1023 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
Texting privacy policy, terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or apply. Stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Linda, your house is so nice and cozy. Mine is so drafty and cold.
Our house was just like that. Then we figured out it was our old windows just letting hot air out and cold air in. So we texted Renewal by Andersen and took care of it.
New windows from Renewal by Andersen really made that big of a difference?
Yes. There was no way we were going to spend another winter freezing and paying huge heating bills. Renewal by Andersen solved both problems. Plus, they offer a 100% full service process. That's why they've worked with over 500,000 happy homeowners like us. And all we had to do was send a text to get started.
Text WIND to 200-300 right now and schedule your free consultation with Renewal by Andersen online today. Plus, text now and get $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Don't wait. Text WIND to 200-300 for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a full year with Renewal by Andersen. Text the word WIND to 200-300. Text WIND to 200-300.
Did you enroll into one of those high-deductible, limited network marketplace health insurance plans? If you did, you are not stuck. You can opt out at any time and enroll into the Freedom of Choice plan with Tim Cooper at Health Plan Network. This plan is available all year, and it's guaranteed acceptance. You can use any doctor, and it's 30 to 60% lower cost than most marketplace plans. One more thing, the monthly premiums are not tied to your income, so there are no surprise tax bills at the end of the year. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Tim Cooper today at 918-612-7882. That's 918-612-7882. Or go to healthplannetwork.net. That's healthplannetwork.net. And you can custom design a plan that is managed by you, not the government.
When breaking news happens, it happens here.
I'm told only one officer fired a shot.
Remember, it happens on 1023 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
1023 KRMG has Tulsa's most accurate and dependable forecast.
Well, the weather pattern change is here. We'll see a strong south breeze today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, and we'll start rolling into more and more rain and thunder chances, too. First chance of rain and thunder coming Tuesday night. One or two of the storms could generate some hail, especially northeast of Tulsa. Higher rain and thunder chances kick up Wednesday night, Thursday, and Thursday night, too. Highest severe weather risk to our southeast. I'm Chief Meteorologist James Adelot for Fox 23 and 1023 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
At 12:34, we have clear skies and 51 degrees on Tulsa Severe Weather Station, 1023 KRMG.
Support for KOSU comes from Oklahoma Securities Department with a reminder, if an investment sounds too good to be true, it probably is. More about investigating before investing at investedok.org.
The Spy.
In their country, to build out the infrastructure, to make sure that South Africa remains Africa's industrial hub. And the key has got to be that the government work with them to create the kind of environment that allows for that investment. energy is also, the energy grid is also a big part of that infrastructure, and it's another place where I know the South African government is thinking about investments that are desperately needed to make sure that they unlock the potential of this economy. Today, 43% of young South Africans are unemployed, and there's a need in the economy for 5,000 new workers, 500,000 new workers each year. Trying to meet that need is something that I know South Africa is focused on. It's something the United States wants to work with South Africa on by supporting innovative programs like Harambee, which is a place where young South Africans are trained. But also my goal of being here is to make clear to South African people, to the South African business community, and to their government that the United States wants to be their partner in unlocking the potential of this economy.
And when you're having your conversations, particularly with government figures in South Africa, will you be discussing the two big global issues on which there are fundamental disagreements? When it comes to the conflict in Gaza, South Africa has accused Israel of genocide and taken it to the International Court of Justice. And although South Africa says it is neutral when it comes to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, has been seen as particularly close to Russia.
Well, here in South Africa, we're of course going to talk about areas of agreement, but also places where we disagree. But fundamentally, the plan is to make sure that we're also talking about how we can further the bilateral relationship. The President's made very clear, for example, that we feel that Russia's invasion of Ukraine needs to end, and we're going to do everything we can to end that invasion, not only because of the impact it's had on Europe and on Ukraine, but also the impact it's had on things like fertilizer costs and cooking oil, and increasing headline inflation in places like South Africa. He's also made very clear that we believe that what Israel did, what Gaza, what happened in Israel, the attacks on October 7th were a heinous act of terrorism. But we've also been clear that we think that innocent Palestinian lives should be protected, and the Vice President has said that we are calling for a ceasefire as well. So I think that fundamentally we'll talk about those issues, but we'll also talk about the fact that as two leading democracies around the world, we have an interest in ensuring that our countries that share so much in terms of values are prosperous economies, and we want to find ways to further that together.
Do you kind of, in a way, compartmentalize the conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine and say, okay, we disagree on those, but let's put them to one side and get on and talk about the money?
No, I think that fundamentally the thing that we have to remember is that the United States and South Africa share the values of being two strong democratic countries, and while we may disagree and we should discuss those areas of disagreement, we also need to talk about areas where we can work together. South Africa is a member of the G20. They'll be hosting the G20 next year, and that'll be an opportunity to highlight their economy, but also to show why South Africa is a true global leader. And with that leadership comes the responsibilities that the government is going to take on. So I would say that we're going to have robust discussions about all of these issues, and they're all part of our bilateral relationship. But from my standpoint, one of the most important parts of that bilateral relationship is the people-to-people connections and business-to-business connections. And in addition to spending time with the government talking about the issues that face us as governments, I want to make sure that we invest our time thinking about ways that we can grow the number of U.S. companies doing business here in South Africa and grow the bilateral trade relationship.
Now, your government, led by Joe Biden, wants to increase by many billions of dollars the amount of funding it has been giving to the government in Ukraine to counter Russia's offensive, but there is a split in Congress, and so far it has not been able to do so. When do you think the US will be in a position to transfer more aid to Ukraine?
The President's made very clear that it's important that we provide resources to Ukraine as quickly as possible, and in the United States, the majority of members of both our House of Representatives and our Senate are in favor of doing so. And the President's called on the House to take action as quickly as possible. But in addition to providing Ukraine with resources, we're also very focused on doing everything we can to slow down Russia's ability to conduct its war by using our sanctions and export controls. And we look forward to continuing to work with our allies to make sure that we hold Russia accountable for their unjustified invasion of Ukraine.
Thanks very much indeed. That's Wally Adeyemo there, the US Deputy Treasury Secretary, on the line from Cape Town.
Now, as you've been hearing this morning, we've been talking about the Oscars, and we're going to hear from a famous movie star now. But it's not to do with Hollywood, it's to do with green energy in Africa. The actor in question is Idris Elba. He's leading a regeneration project in Sierra Leone along with Siaka Stevens, the grandson of the country's former president. They're building an eco-city on the rural Cherbourg Island off the coast of West Africa with a wind and solar farm. Less than a third of homes in Sierra Leone have electricity. Our business reporter David Wadle has been speaking to the CEO of Octopus Energy Generation, which is building the project, Zoyisha North Pond, but began by asking Idris Elba why Cherbourg Island was chosen.
Originally, we went there looking at how can we bring tourism to the most incredible 19 miles of beachfront that was there. And then we saw something a bit more innovative, a bit more exciting, was this idea of building a sort of eco-smart city, preserving what's beautiful about it, but at the same time attracting partners to help build it out, if you like, and explore it. So that's how it came about.
This is a question for Zoe. So there's a lot of work to be done to make this project work. Have you identified local skills and experience that are needed to complete the project?
Absolutely. We would want to work with local communities to be able to upskill as much as possible. We even want the wind farm to be able to unlock new industry and actually to unlock old industries as well, such as fisheries and fishing. So refrigeration suddenly gives us the opportunity to be able to do that again.
Idris, this is essentially a commercial project. I guess you're looking at profits. Will Sierra Leone, the people of Sierra Leone, see those profits?
When you talk about profits, it's really about, are we ever going to make a profit? I don't think so, but it's about being self-reliant. It's about bringing an economy that feeds itself, that has growth potential. I'm very keen to sort of reframe the way Africa is viewed. We often view the framing of Africa as an aid model, and this opportunity is completely different.
Cherbourg Island is somewhere that until now has been focused on fishing and agriculture. You and I are talking about developing a tourism industry. Is this somewhere I should be looking at for our next family holiday?
Well, yes, we want to find a destination in West Africa that attracts business as well as holidaymakers, as well as innovation. I'm a filmmaker. I have a dream to have a really amazing film studio there that has a sort of universal studios type theme. So my roller coaster is over there and my movie over there. I think you and your family will go to a place where there's winter sun. It's 7 hours away from Europe for the most part, and it's beautiful.
And for Octopus, Zoisa, what is it first attracted Octopus to partnering with international TV and film star Idris Elba?
Well, I was going to say, the way you put it, I mean, several reasons. In that, when we met with both Siaka and Idris, the one thing that blew me away was their knowledge of renewable energy. They were describing to me how this was a wind tunnel and it has 16 hours of sunshine that we can be looking at. So it was that as much as, of course, a name like Idris's. And Siaka, who of course is the grandson of the former president of Sierra Leone as well. So we knew that relationships would have been built there.
And Idris, what is it that's inspired you to lend not just your passion but also your name to a project like this?
Never in my lifetime would I have thought I could help build the foundation for a new smart city. No, I'm not qualified for that, but I am qualified to dream big. And my parents came to this country when they were young, late 60s, with the aspiration of going home. And I'm still alive, but my dad isn't. So part of me wants to build that beautiful retirement home for my mum where she can go back and say, wow, my little guy that was born in Hackney came back home and built this incredible island. And it's a dream, but I work in the make-believe business, and it's exactly that, make-believe, you know.
Your mum, I think, is Ghanaian, but your father is Sierra Leonean, and you've just mentioned that he's no longer with us. How do you think he would feel to see you getting behind this project?
I think he'd think that I was dreaming way too big. First of all, he'll say, like, why Cherbourg? That's miles away from my village. Then secondly, he'd say, look, if you're going to do it, make sure you do it properly, do it good, do it with all your heart, because that's the best you can do. I think you'd be proud, though.
Idris Elba there, ending that report by David. You're listening to Newsday from the BBC World Service with me, Catherine Garahanga and Rob Young. A reminder of our top stories on the World Service. Palestinians have begun marking the Islamic holy month of Ramadan with fierce battles continuing between Israel
Oh
and
iya,
Hamas
mau
in
Ramadan
Gaza,
ya.
and no sign of a truce. The centre-right Democratic Alliance has won a narrow victory in Portugal's general election, which also saw a surge in support for the far right. And the atom bomb drama Oppenheimer has triumphed at the Oscars, winning 7 awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor. And now it's time for sport with George Adam.
And we begin with football. For the first time since 2014, just 1 point separates the top 3 in the Premier League after 28 games played. This result at Anfield was confirmation this season's title race will go down to the wire.
McAllister right-footed, high above the dive of Edison and into the back of the Manchester City net. And listen to the reaction from inside Anfield to a scoreline now of Liverpool 1, Manchester City 1.
Yes, the second half penalty from the Argentina international Alexis McAllister, and the point for Liverpool in the top of the table clash with Manchester City in the English Premier League. Now BBC's football correspondent John Morrow reports from Anfield.
It was a pulsating match between these two modern heavyweights of the Premier League. It was the reigning champions Manchester City who carried the greater threat in the first half, and it was they who took the lead from a perfectly worked corner that was forced in at the near post by John Stones. But Liverpool took the match back to City in the second half, equalised early from a McAllister penalty after goalkeeper Edison cleaned out Nunez. He was injured in the process. Replacement City keeper Ortega was called on to make saves. Diaz couldn't take big chances. There was a Liverpool penalty claim right near the end, but at the other end, Doku came so close to swinging it back City's way when shooting against a post. But the net result, both matches between them this season have ended 1-1.
Now the Manchester City and England defender Kyle Walker says the match was a tactical battle.
With these teams, it's a chess game. Who's going to make that move or make that mistake which then the other team's going to capitalise on? But listen, we'll take a point. We'll take a point definitely. Move on. Big FA Cup weekend next weekend, and then international break, and then it's the running, and that's what you want to be involved in. You know, three horse race. You know, going for it.
Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp was pleased with his side's reaction after conceding early in the game.
Of course, the second half was the best half we ever played with Liverpool, or I have to say Dortmund even against Bayern or whatever. Really? Yeah, of course, there's no chance. Maybe we won games with good results, but it was counter-attack, or we had good football moments, no doubt, really good football, and caused them problems. But today, from my point, was the best we played.
Elsewhere, Tottenham thrashed Aston Villa 4-0 away from home to move to within 2 points of the top 4. In France, Ligue 1 leaders Paris Saint-Germain were held to a 2-2 draw by Reims in the Parc des Princes. Elsewhere, there were wins from Monaco, Metz and Marseille. In Italy, Juventus were held to a 2-2 draw by Atalanta in Turin. Milan moved above Juve and up to second in the table with a 1-0 win at home to Empoli. In Spain, league leaders Real Madrid thrashed Celta Vigo 4-0 in the capital. And in Germany, Bayer Leverkusen re-established a 10-point lead at the top of the Bundesliga with a 2-0 win over Wolfsburg. In golf, Bailey Tardy claimed her first LPGA title at Blue Bay in China, and the reigning world champion Francesco Bagnaia has won the season-opening MotoGP race in Qatar. Brad Binder finished second and Jorge Martin third. You can catch up with all the latest sports news and results on our website, bbc.com/sport.
Thank you for that update, George.
Last week, Zambia's President Hichilema declared that the country is facing a national disaster due to the ongoing drought there. He said that over 1 million families in the country are being affected by the drought, and 84 districts out of the country's 116 have been impacted. He urged international aid donors to help his country with food and water supplies. Another concern is that the nation will struggle to meet its electricity demands, as most of its energy comes from hydropower. Well, in today's Africa Daily podcast, Alan Kasuja has been finding out about the impact of the drought, starting with a Zambian farmer.
My name is Maria from Lusaka, Zambia. I live in Chamba Valley. I'm a small-scale farmer. I grow maize and indigenous vegetables. The drought is bad and has affected my livelihood. I'm relying on assistance from my siblings.
is our reporter based in Lusaka. He's been covering the story for us.
Usually the rain season in Zambia starts around September or mid-October, and then it runs up to March, April. But in this particular case, especially in a province like Lusaka, the rain only started around January, like seriously. But then within a month or so, it stopped completely.
Are we able to quantify this crisis? How big is it?
It's literally present in all parts of the country. The hydroelectricity that I referred to earlier, the water levels at Kariba Dam, which is used to generate hydroelectricity, are so low that for the first time, the authority or the regulator that allocates water to both Zimbabwe and Zambia that co-own the Kariba Dam has said that they're going to almost have the allocation. What Zambia is experiencing is something that has not been experienced before.
The subsistence farmers are having to spend hard-earned cash that is very difficult to come by, or on things like food, which is not something that they normally do. Is that a right assumption?
Yes, you are right. Because by their nature, the subsistence farmers would cultivate their maize, some for eating and sell the excess. And these are people ordinarily, because they're not commercial in nature, that may not have access to loans as much as their commercial counterparts. So once they start preparing or tilling the land for the next farming season, the expectation is that it's going to rain normally, and whatever they would have reserved would only take them up to that farming season. But in this particular case, we are faced with a situation where maize was planted, but it's been wilting, it's been dying.
You know, the situation that you're portraying in this description, Kennedy, just causes me to say there is absolutely nothing Hakainde Hichilema and his government can do at all. You know, is there anything HH can do? What are they doing? Because it just seems like it's so desperate. What do you do in a situation like that other than ask your neighbors to send you some food or buy food and subsidize the cost of flour and things like that?
I guess the only thing that you can do are things that are humanly possible within his control. But also, if you put yourself in Hakainde Hichileman's shoes, it's really been a bad time. Because remember, he won or he became president in 2021. Before then, there was the COVID crisis. And as a result of the COVID crisis, Zambia became the first country to record post-COVID on its debt, as he's struggling to revive the economy. As he's also trying to fight cholera, then the drought hits. So it's not a position that one would envy to be in. Long-term solutions are obviously looking at, in terms of energy, expanding the energy mix. Instead of Zambia being reliant on hydroelectricity, you also have to look at other sources such as solar. You have to look at other sources such as wind energy. So expanding the energy mix obviously is a long-term plan. But also in terms of agriculture, they're calling, the president and the government have been calling on people, be it subsistence farmers or commercial farmers, to invest more in technologies that obviously improve their yields, in technologies that will insulate them in case there's another drought that comes up. And also they're offering loans to civil servants that are in one way or the other are engaged in farming. They're offering loans. They're offering an olive branch, or they're offering incentives to an ordinary person who may be engaged in farming. But also the president made an announcement that in cases where, for instance, the most vulnerable cannot have access to food or maize meal, or just generally are suffering as a result of the drought, then the social cash transfer systems have to be enhanced. So those are some of just the many measures the government has announced, and indeed Zambians have been responding in their own way. I was going to talk about the Food Reserve Agency, which obviously is responsible for the national food strategic food reserves. They've also been told to start selling some of the reserves to the people that are most hit. So the government is not sleeping. They are trying by all means to address the problem. But again, like we know, or like we don't know rather, how long this is going to go for. We just pray that next year the drought does not extend, because all expectations are that maybe things will get back to normal next year. But these are disasters, these are phenomena that we don't have control. So everywhere literally people are being affected. In the next 2 to 3 months, you don't know what is going to happen, because the next farming season only kicks in September. So we are talking about almost a year of uncertainty.
If you want to hear a longer version of those conversations, then you can and search for BBC Africa Daily wherever you usually get your downloads, or head to bbcworldservice.com. Now, we've been talking about the Oscars a lot this hour, we'll continue to do so coming out as well, I'm sure. One of the highlights of the Oscars ceremony was when the actor Ryan Gosling emerged from the audience dressed head to toe in pink, including pink gloves, to sing this hit song from Marvin.
Aduh, sorry bro. Nabrak ya. Depan pelan banget. Maju lah, cowok gaskeun. Gila. Jika sungguh gini, pada jalan lurus. Depan ada apa? Aduh, ini ada apa lagi? Udah kan sih. Sorry ya. Oh, sini. Lapar nih. Lihat. Lelah ya, lelah. Kita rest area dulu ya. Dulu. Aduh. Biar hidup masuk ya. Yuk, berangkat lagi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Lihat. Bentar. kita parkirin dulu, kita belum akhiri game ini ya. Oke, kita sudahi dulu live streaming hari ini ya, sepi juga. Kalau begitu saya pamit undur diri dulu. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sudah.